government here abolished the death penalty and introduced a new rule. Now, dangerous criminals are sent to a prison island. The name might sound like a picnic spot, but this is no trip to Goa. The ticket here is one way. The only return option is in the hands of the Almighty. Escaping from here is impossible because the entire island is surrounded by landmines. It's an isolated island surrounded by the sea with only one entry and exit point, which is under military control. Essentially, if you think of escaping, you'll turn into free Diwali fireworks, and onto this very island are dropped 3 girls, accused of murder. Just imagine, when girls arrive amid such dangerous criminals, the jail feels less like a prison and more like a full-blown survival reality show. How these 3 girls defend themselves, what the other criminals do to them, and how they exploit them is what we are going to see in today's video. Before starting the video, a small request. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The story begins with TV journalists who are asking people for their opinions on the prison island. Most people say it's the government's best decision. If all the criminals are locked up on one island, the common public will be safe. And when all the murderers gather in one place, they will eventually eliminate each other, bringing peace to ordinary people. It is revealed here that a new law was passed 3 years ago. Earlier, anyone who committed first-degree murder was immediately hanged. But the government thought, what's the point of hanging them? The person just dies for free. It's better to send them to the island and let them die on their own. And so the gallows were abandoned. Now everyone is sent to an island called San Bernardino, famous globally as Terminal Island. Escape from here is absolutely impossible because the island is surrounded on all sides by minefields. The small channel for boats is watched over by the military's destroyer ship. The journalists' new project is to make a film showcasing the lives of the new prisoners. And in comes the gang of criminals. Bobby, who committed a $2 million robbery. Lee Phillips, who blew up a bank because they refused to transfer her money. AJ Thomas, who eliminated a policeman. Bunny Campbell, who killed her parents for a family discount. Joy Land, who poisoned her husband. Dr. Norman Milford, a serial killer. And now, the freshest entry, Carmen Sims. The journalists' faces light up as if a news channel has found new sensational material. Carmen is taken to the island. The police read her rights and tell her, now you can only leave this place as a corpse. She will be registered in government records as dead. And just like that, Carmen's welcome party begins with dead bodies floating near the shore. It is then that Carmen begins to realize how dangerous this place is. Tired, Carmen sits on the beach and notices a man staring at her from between the rocks. As the man approaches, Carmen gets nervous and grabs a vase lying on the ground for protection. But the man calmly tells her not to be afraid. This man is none other than Dr. Milford. He says, I always come to welcome new prisoners. The doctor explains that the remaining prisoners live in a camp, and now only about 40 people are left. When he first came here, there were 75, but slowly the count dwindled due to fights. Carmen is curious and asks, how many women are there? The doctor says, very few, and I wish there were a few more. Carmen understands the doctor's hidden meaning, smiles and asks, who killed all these corpses on the beach? The doctor says, a little sarcastically, well, everyone here is a murderer. They just keep killing each other. I'm the only one who has never killed anyone. Coming here itself is a crime. Carmen doesn't believe him. The next morning, Carmen fearlessly enters the camp. Looking at her, it seems the gender ratio has gone completely awry. Men everywhere, and only 3 girls. These are Lee, who blew up a bank, Bunny, who killed her parents, and Joyland, who poisoned her husband. She sees that all the prisoners are wearing similar clothes, and everyone is busy doing some work. Just then, the camp leader, Bobby, enters with his assistant, Monk. As soon as they see Carmen, Bobby tells Monk, go, handle her. Monk walks straight towards Carmen. Carmen extends a hand for friendship, but Monk immediately adopts an aggressive attitude. Wanting to show who the real boss is, he forcefully puts his hand on her body. Carmen pushes his hand away and confronts him. In anger, Monk throws her to the ground, puts his foot on her head to humiliate her in front of everyone, and then says, you have to do whatever work we tell you to, or the consequences will be bad. Carmen screams for help, but no one comes, because the rule here is simple. Look out for yourself. And this is where the real drama of Terminal Island begins. As evening falls, the women quietly go into their hut. But the camp girls notice Carmen is casually sleeping on their mattress. After a bit of gossip, Carmen in shock asks, why are you doing this? The women explain that they are kept in this room so that the men always have women available, as there are no other women on the island. When Carmen tries to leave, no one lets her go. The women explain, "We are the most valuable commodity here. That's why we are not allowed to move around freely." Hearing this, Carmen's rebellious mode switches on. She clearly understands the system is corrupt and must be changed. She immediately goes to Bunny, pulls her hair, and threatens her. "If you bother me again, I'll kill you too, just like I finished off a friend in jail." The other girls also think, "She looks very dangerous. Maybe she will change this system." But the next morning, she, too, is sent to the fields with the others. The work is to plow the land and dig the soil themselves, in place of oxen. After a day of hard work, she asks, "Has anyone ever tried to stand up against Bobby and his gang?" She has answered, "Yes, some people escaped, but there's no guarantee they were better than Bobby." Meanwhile, Joy asks for water, but the head of workers throws water directly on her. Unable to bear the insult, she runs away. Then, a prisoner offers her his water. Seeing this, the head of workers gets angry and attacks him. The other man doesn't stay silent either and immediately pulls out a knife. A terrible fight breaks out between the two. But Bobby arrives and the two are separated. The next day, the women work on building a new storehouse. Kneading mud, lifting large stones, everything was very difficult for them. While working, Carmen injures her hand. The doctor comes to help her, but the guard chases him away. Humanity is not allowed here. In the evening, the women are just about to get fresh when Monk barges in and orders them. Everyone has to work the night shift, except for Bunny, who is reserved only for Bobby. The camp atmosphere is simple. In the day, make the girls plow the fields, and at night, make Bobby plow them. The next morning, everyone lines up, and the women are giving them food one by one when a fight breaks out again. One person dies in the fight. The prisoners pick up his body and throw it straight into the sea. And that is the island's funeral ceremony. After this, the women and some prisoners go to the creek to wash clothes with protection, but then they are attacked. Escaped prisoners pounce on them. These are the people who had stood up against Bobby. Their leader is A.J. Thomas, and this is Colonel. The prisoners kill Bobby's guards and then take the women with them. Bobby, upon finding out, is furious. He orders them, find the women and crush everyone. In the other camp, the new group is sitting around a fire, roasting a wild boar and enjoying imagining Bobby's burned face. For the first time, a new chapter of relationships begins, not forced, but by consent. But one man is ignored, Taylor, and this fact is utterly unacceptable to him. Taylor immediately removes the first man from on top of Lee because his own pillar plan was ready. Yes, Taylor wanted to make it rain in Lee's cave with his pillar, but Madam Lee had a different idea. She didn't want Taylor to plant his pillar there, so she starts screaming for help. The others come and explain to Taylor, "Buddy, no force will work here. The system has changed." Taylor goes quiet, but his mind is still stuck somewhere between his legs. The scene cuts. Lee is bathing in the lake. Water is dripping from her body in slow motion, and with her suggestive actions, she starts to seduce Taylor. Cunning Lee comes out of the lake and slowly takes Taylor to a spot and lays him down. The same spot where she stopped him from planting his pillar yesterday. Today they are both ready to get soaked in the rain. But wait a minute. Lee loved to eat and lick sweets. A sweet mouth and a full stomach meant double the pleasure. So she applies honey not just to Taylor's bed, but also to his bag. Taylor thinks, wow, today is a real honey plus moon night. But hold on, she didn't apply the honey for herself to lick. It was applied to call an army of bees. Yes, Lee also had to take her revenge. And as the bees arrive in a swarm, Taylor panics. The poor fellow, trying to save his tools, jumps into the water in a fright. Poor Taylor was expecting romance, but got a full-on sting operation instead. A bee swarm instead of a honeymoon. The next morning, the company moves to change its location. They have to shift to a new campsite every morning. The women get tired. Is running away their destiny for life? Just then, Lee finds saltpeter near the lake. An idea strikes her. If she mixes it with gray chalk, it will become black powder, and black powder makes a grenade. This idea is shown to Thomas. Bobby again orders, search every tree on the island, find the fugitives. But in the morning, the reverse happens. The fugitives themselves attack Bobby's men. An intense fight begins and bodies drop on both sides. Colonel decides he will stay and fight Monk so the others can escape. People run away, but one man gets injured. To save him, Thomas goes to call the doctor and brings him to their camp. But alas, the doctor can no longer save his life. The next day, everyone understands one thing. It is now impossible to survive on the island by just running away. Bobby and his gang must be eliminated. For this mission, Lee begins making her grenades, and Carmen prepares her poison. The deceased is buried in the ground. The doctor also decides that he will now stay with this new group. Meanwhile, in Bobby's camp, a man builds a small radio. Bobby tunes the correct frequency and catches a signal. Simultaneously, under Lee's supervision, ingredients are ground for gunpowder. Lee is happy. Everything is going perfectly, and in a short time, real grenades are made. Just light the fuse and throw. In the meantime, Bunny goes near the waterfall, where Bobby's men catch her. Bobby hears on the radio that a police boat will arrive with supplies in the morning. So, Bunny is tied to a pole by the sea, and Bobby himself starts beating her with a belt. Bunny's friends try to help, but realize that in an open fight, they won't stand a chance against Bobby's gang. Just then, Bobby sees the police boat and, along with his men, hides behind the rocks. As the police boat approaches the island and the officers go to untie Bunny, one of Bobby's men shoots an officer right on the boat, takes his gun, and also kills both officers standing on the beach. Bobby's men seize the police weapons and gas canisters. Bobby leaves one man to guard the boat and returns to the camp with the rest. Thomas also tells his men, "Eliminate the boat guard and the weapons will be ours." One of his men kills the guard and brings back his gun. Thomas announces, "Now we have a boat, guns, and gas canisters. We can use all of this to fight Bobby." At this moment, Bunny returns to Thomas's group, but she is in a very bad condition. The doctor approaches her and calms her down. At night, sitting around the fire, the doctor recounts his past, how he was accused of disconnecting a dead patient from a ventilator. "I don't want to go back to that world where I was betrayed. This island is my home now." In the morning, the group makes a new plan. Bobby's game must end. The action plan is ready, and everyone sets out for their respective points. The plan is ready. One woman prepares a large gasoline canister. When the time comes, Bunny has to send the fuel to the warehouse through pipes and start a fire. Thomas and his group begin to execute their final plan. Everyone goes to their assigned spots. First, they blast the camp's toilet, and a man is blown up along with it. Panic breaks out in the camp. No one understands what is happening. Bobby and Monk start firing with the weapons they got. Colonel falls in a shootout. Bobby hides in the warehouse and leads the fire. Then, Lee grabs a grenade and runs straight towards the bunker. There is a loud explosion, but Bobby survives and instead shoots Lee from behind, killing her. Monk is also injured, but he crawls to Bobby's bunker and says, "Open the door." But after entering, Monk is angry. Bobby is wasting too many bullets. Meanwhile, Joy gives signals to Bunny, but Bunny is in shock. She can't remember what she was supposed to do. She runs towards the wounded prisoners, but gets shot herself. Then, the doctor picks her up, hides her in a safe place, and then runs to the pipes, releases the gasoline, and starts a fire. Bobby realizes the smell of gasoline too late, and then there's a huge explosion. The bunker is blown up. Bobby emerges, completely ablaze. A little later, only silence remains in the camp. People now start living together peacefully. And then there's a twist in the story. Monk is still alive, but he was burned in the blast and has lost his eyes. He is now blind. After peace returns to the camp, the huts are rebuilt. People start farming. Blind Monk also works with them and brings water for them. The doctor and Bunny go to the seashore. Just then, a police boat arrives. The officer shouts, "Call Dr. Milford. He is needed for a new trial on the mainland." But the doctor says, "Milford is dead. I will not go back. This island is my home now." And then a new criminal steps off the sea onto the island. The doctor welcomes her, as always, as if the cycle is repeating itself. And here, our story ends today. This was a chapter from the Women in Prison film series, those cult movies that were very popular in the 70s, where women were shown as beautiful, innocent prisoners who eventually found justice and sometimes even love. Friends, thank you for being with us in this story. Let us know in the comments how you liked this film.